Well, welcome to 35 to 1 Roulette Cruising. We've got a strategy sent over by Randall. It's called Color Up and Cash Out. It's kind of a new approach to the black snake or red snake. Let's check it out. So Randall sent me this strategy over, and some of us have seen what they call the red snake or the black snake. And it's betting 12 numbers, and pretty well you're following the pattern of the numbers on the table, and it makes a snake shape. That's kind of what we're going with here. But he sent me like 4 different patterns to run it, okay? And what he's saying is we're going to bet the 12 numbers. We're going to, whatever color we land on as far as, if it's red or black, is going to determine if we run red snake or black snake, and it's going to be our choice to either run a red pattern 1 or red pattern 2 or black pattern 1 or black pattern 2. Okay, so he's got them labeled out: snake 1, black snake 1, red snake 1, black snake 2, red snake 2. And what I'll do is I'm going to lay them out real quick just so you guys know what the setup is. So let me go ahead and cash in. So we're going to go $1,000. So this is a pretty steep buy-in for this one. But he says that we should be able to run it with a $500 to $800 buy-in. But I want to give ourselves a chance, because you're going to run it on a Fibonacci sequence. And the sequence is going to go 2, 2, 4, 6, 10, 16, 26. Then we go 42, 68, 110. Okay, so those are dollars on every on all those bets. So it gets really expensive, but with $1,000 we can go all the way out to 7 bets, okay, before we're pretty much done. Okay, so let's let me see, let me go ahead and cash in. So $1,000. Hey, I know how much you like watching these videos, so make sure to hit that like button for me and hit that subscribe button. We're shooting for 5,000 subscribers before the end of the year. Let's see if we can make it happen. Remember, cash on the table, your CPAS card, they scan it, give it back to you. That's how you get your points on the cruise. So we're going to do $1,000. Let's get $200 in color chips. So these are $2 chips. We're going to get $500 in red chips. These are $5 chips. And we're going to go ahead and get $300 in green chips. These are $25 a piece. Okay, so here, let me just show you the patterns that he's wanting us to play. All right, so I'm going to play or show you the black snake 1 pattern, and that goes 2, 4, 8, 11, 15, 17, 20, 22, 26, 29, 33, and 35. So that will be the black snake 1 pattern. All right, so take a look at that, and if you need to make a screenshot, go ahead and make a screenshot now. Okay. All right, so then, now let's set up black snake 2. So black snake 2 will go 2, 6, 8, 10, 12, 17, 20, 24, 26, 28, 31, and 35. So there is black snake 2. Take a screenshot if you need to get it real quick. Okay. All right. So next up, we're going to do red snake 1. So red snake pattern 1. So 1, 5, 9, 12, 14, 16, 19, 23, 27, 30, 32, and 34. So that is red snake 1 pattern. Take a screenshot if you want to have that later. All right, so we'll remove all those. And now, red snake 2 pattern is 3, 5, 7. This is where it gets a little weird. 9, 14, 18, 21, 23, 25, 30, 32, and 36. All right, so that is red snake 2. Now this one here is about the only one I've noticed that it doesn't stay in a line. Like this does something funky right here, and it does something funky right there. But you know, you're covering red numbers. That's pretty well all your goal is to cover 12 of the red numbers. So there you go. All right, so let's see. So what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to keep up with what color we land on. We're going to chase that color. That's what he recommends, is chase the color. And we're going to try to alternate from red snake or black snake pattern, either red snake 1 or black snake 1, 2, whatever, okay? So we're going to go ahead and establish a number for our first bet here. And he says he never went over the 3x bet, which would be bet number 4, which is going to be a $6 bet for us, okay? Because we're playing with $2 chips. All right, so that's what he says, and then it never went above 3x really. He says, but he has gone up to 8x, and he went ahead and cashed out. But at that point, he had already tripled his $1,000 bankroll. All right, so let's just see what happens with it. We're going to try to go 20 spins with it. Okay, so we're on a 2. All right, so there we go. So now we got to pick, are we going to do black snake 1 or black snake 2? Let's just go with black snake 1. All right, so here we go. Black snake 1 pattern. 2, 4, 8, 11, 17 right there. And over here and right there. All right, so there is black snake 1. So let's we'll keep a note on that. We're gonna go black snake 1 on that. Let's see if we can get some wins off of this one. So here we go. So now this is color up and cash out strategy sent over by Randall, and let's see if we can be profitable with it. It's a little complicated to keep up with, but with our cheat sheet paper here, we might do okay. All right, we hit 0. All right, so he says if you hit green, you just bet the same pattern again. So let's see. I'm just going to give 12 chips to the dealer here. All right, so there's 12 chips because our next bet would actually be the exact same, okay? Because the Fibonacci sequence is 2 and 2, so these are $2 chips, okay? It's actually a 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13, 21, 34, 55. That would be the sequence, but we're playing with $2 chips. Changes it up just a little bit. All right, so there we go. So we hit 6, so we missed it. All right, so we're going to go ahead and rake the table. We did hit a black number, but it hit on the wrong side. So now we got to go up to 2 chips each. All right, here we go. All right, we hit 18. Another loss. All right, so now we have to go up to 3 chips each. All right, there we go. So we hit 35. All right, so now where that bet's at right there, $6 on there, that's going to pay $210. Okay, so there we go. So we've recovered everything we had lost plus $50. Okay, so we've got a $50 profit there. All right, so we're going to drop it back down. So we just won. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop back down to 1 chip on each. But we're going to switch over to the black snake pattern number 2 because we landed on a black number right there. So let's switch it over to 2. We're going back down to 1 chip each. All right, there we go. So we got black snake pattern number 2. Betting the black number because 35 was the last number to hit. All right, we hit 0. And again, we're going to keep it where it's at because that's our first bet. So we're going to just give 12 chips to the dealer. All right, we landed on 10. All right, so that is going to pay $70 or 35 chips right there. All right, so there's our 35 chips. Bring that back to our rack. Okay. All right, so we hit 10. So now I'm going to switch back to black snake 1 for our pattern on that one, okay? All right, 19. All right, we're just going to give the dealer 12 chips. Zero. We'll give the dealer 12 chips again. All right, there's the 12 chips there. And we're going to double up. All right, 36. We lost right there. Now we have to go up to 3 chips each. And double 0. Now we go up to 5 chips each. Let's do this. Instead of these, we're going to go $10 on each of our numbers here. And 13. All right, so we lost that. Now we have to go up to $16 each. All right, we have $16 on each of our numbers now. All right, we hit 4. So it worked out. So let me add it up here. Okay, so with 16 chips on there, that pays $560. So here is 400, there's $560 there. We recovered everything we had lost, plus we profited at least the $160 with that one. All right, so bring all that back to my rack here. All right, so we've gone 12 spins with it, 12 spins, and I kind of want to see what we are in profit at this point because we need to have a walk away with this one. So let's see, so there's 200, there's 700. We started with $1,000. Okay, so there's $1,000 right there. So get that out of the way there. Let's see, so there is 100. 150, 160. So $168 profit right now after 12 spins. Okay, so we stuck with the black side the entire time, but I think I should have been alternating every number wherever it hit. It should have made a decision as a different bet. Okay, so I just ran it that way. Pretty well ran it black, either black snake 1 or black snake 2 the entire time. All right, where you can get in trouble is if it lands on red 10 times in a row, you're going to be in real trouble if you stick with the one color. And that's kind of one thing he pointed out, was don't stick with the same color the entire time. Follow the number. I kind of screwed it up on the first session there. So let's run it another session. So we're going to set up again. We're going to get $1,000 again. So there we go. So we got 400 or 200 in color chips, 500 in $5 chips, and another 300 in green chips, which are $25 a piece. And let's run it again. Let's run it the proper way this time, and just see how it does. Okay. So let's establish us a number. All right, so we land on 23. So this time we're going to go red side this time. So we're going to go red snake 1. All right, here we go. Now this time I'm going to try to keep up with and do it the proper way, and I'm going to switch every single time. May get a little complicated, but hopefully I can keep up with it. All right, so land on 5. All right, that's a win there. So that is a $70 win right there, or a 35 chip win. All right, so there is our win there. So now we're going to alternate now. We're going to go over to red snake 2. So red snake 2. All right, here we go. All right, we're landing on black 6 there. So that was a loss, so let's go ahead and rake it, because now we're going to switch over to black snake 1 at a 1 chip bet here. All right, we hit 5. All right, we're going to rake the table. Now we have to go up to 2 chips each. And we're going to switch it over. We're going to go back to red snake 1. All right, we hit 18. Well, that missed right there. All right, so now we've got to go up to 2 chips each. Let's see. Or did I screw that up last time? I don't think I did. I think I did that right. All right, anyway, whatever. We're going up to 2 chips each now, but I'm going to switch it over to red snake 2. And almost forgot. 2 chips on each of those. I think I did mess up that last bet. All right, we hit 18, back to back. There we go. All right, so that is going to pay $140. All right, so there's $140 is what that one pays. So we're gonna bring all that back to our rack here. All right, so we hit 18 there. So now we're gonna go ahead and go back to red snake 1. We're landing on a red. We're gonna go back down to our starting bet for red snake 1. All right, we hit 5. All right, so that's going to pay $70. So we're just going to go ahead and pay this with cash chips here. So there is a $70 win right there. Bring that back to our rack here. All right, now we're going to set up for Red Snake 2. All right, 9. All right, again, that's going to pay $70. So we're going to pay this with cash chips here. There's $70. Bring that back to the rack there. And let's see, we're on spin number 7. Let's go to spin number 10. I want to go at least 10 spins with it. So what did we do? We just went Red Snake 2, I think. So let's go Red Snake 1. All right, 13. All right, we lost that. All right, so it landed on black numbers. Now we've got to go to Black Snake. So let's see, Black Snake. Let's go Black Snake 2. We haven't run it yet. All right, we landed on 1. Lost all that. All right, so now we're on red. Let's see, we're going to go Red Snake 2. With this one, we got to go 2 chips each. So let's see, Red Snake 2. 2 chips each. All right, we hit 35. Lost all that. All right, now we have to go up to 3 chips each. We landed on the black. We're going to go Black Snake 1. And we have to go 3 chips each. Black Snake 1. All right, we landed on 6. Landed on black, but wrong side. All right, so let's go Black Snake 2 on this one. All right, but this time we have to go $10 each on Black Snake 2. All right, we're landing on 10. All right, so that's going to pay $350. So let me pay that out. We're at 12 spins, so let's see what happens here. All right, so I'm going 12 spins with it, and I tried to do it the proper way. Hopefully I did it right, Randall. So let's see. So we had a $1,000 buy-in. There's 500. All right, so there's $1,000 right there. That's our buy-in. So there's 200. 220, 230, 240. Okay, so a $240 profit in 12 spins with that one. It's pretty complicated to keep up with it without a cheat sheet. You know, you might could just pick a red snake or a black snake pattern and just alternate between the two, but he's kind of set it up to where you're kind of changing a little bit here and there, just to kind of change your number locations a little bit. But not bad. Not bad, just hard to keep up with. All right, so that was the color up and cash out strategy. So let's talk about ratings. Okay, so as far as comp value for this one is going to be all over the place, because you start out, your bet is at $24, playing with the $2 chips, obviously. So 24 and 24, and then you go 48, then 96, then 168, and 210, or 288, and 480. We went up to $480 out on the table at one time in the first session, okay? But as far as rating goes for this, it's just according to when the pit boss comes by and looks at it. You know, you have $24 out there for at least two of the first spins. So, well, I think I misspoke on that. That was added up. Okay, so you're betting, you know, 24, 24, 48. You know, so I don't know if it's worth pushing that high for the rating that you're getting. That's the thing. I don't think I would play this as a comp strategy, because if I had to guess, you would probably be at the 24 points every 10 spins. And well, like I said, when I was giving you those numbers before, that was how it added up. Okay, so you got $500 at risk up to that $16 bet, but you're only going to earn like 24 points for it. If you lost that $500, it's not really worth earning that 24 points, all right? So as far as comp value for this one, I'm going to have to give it a 1. It could, but, you know, I just don't see it being worth it, especially with the way you're having to increase your bets on this thing. Let's see. Now, as far as profitability goes, we were profitable in both sessions, so it can be profitable. I think this is one of those that if you sit down and you work it, you could probably be profitable with it. So I'm going to go ahead and give it a 4. Okay, I'm just going to give it a 4 because there is potential there, and especially if you get on a run where some colors hit back to back. Okay, but if you're chasing the wrong color and it starts hitting back to back, but that's where I messed up on the first session. And the second session, I kind of did a little bit better of, you know, alternating and changing with the way the wheel hit. So profitability is going to be a 4 on this one because it was profitable on both the sessions that I played. And I haven't played it before I started filming. This was the first time I'd seen this strategy, first time I'd spun it out. So it's a little bit of a learning curve on it. But anyway, now as far as ease of setup for this one, this is tough, okay? It's tough to set it out in the patterns that he has here. Not that you can't do it. Maybe after you see them a few times, it would be easy to set up. But with the alternating between pattern 1 or 2 or black 1, black 2, red 1, red 2, alternating between all that, it gets really complicated if you're not keeping up with it. So this is one you have to sit down at the table with a notepad and keep up with where you're placing your bets. If not, you're going to get lost in the sequence. Okay, so ease of setup for this one, I'm going to have to give it a 1. I probably couldn't sit down at the table and play this without this paper in front of me that shows the patterns as to what to play. Now, if I picked a red pattern or a black pattern and just that was it, then yeah, I could probably do that. That would probably increase it to, you know, a 3 or a 4, in my opinion. But with alternating between 4 different patterns, it gets a little complicated. And especially if they're raking the table every time and then everybody else is putting their chips out, it could get real confusing real quick. All right, so there it is. So that is color up and cash out sent over by Randall. If you have a strategy you want me to run out, email it to me at roulettecruising@gmail.com. I like to run them out. I can try to go 20 spins with them if I can. I like a $300 to $500 buy-in is what I like with those. just to kind of see if we can get something going with it. Either it can be a comp strategy, or you can give me a strategy that says, hey, a walk up and a few spins and be in profit and walk away. Maybe those kind of strategies will work out too. If we can try them out, we'll test them out here too. All right, so there it is. Make sure to hit that like button for me. And if you haven't subscribed, make sure to subscribe to 35 to 1 Roulette Cruising. And until next time, happy cruising. We'll see y'all. Bye.